you about a trip that Michelle and I took in 2018. We went to Iceland, and we were in Reykjavik and surrounding areas for about 6 days. Thought about, driving around the island, but it would have been an incredible feat, and we would just have to be driving for so long every day. It ended up not being worth it. And we're the type to, we want to go out every day and do some stuff, but then we certainly want to take the time to relax too, because that's what vacation's about. So we landed and rented a car. It was a small Citroen, which I had never driven before, and it was like a 4-speed, which I didn't know cars still existed that only have 4-speed transmissions that were made anywhere near past 2010. But that's what we got. Rented an Airbnb a little outside of downtown Reykjavik. It was 10-minute drive, not a big deal. And like I said, we were there for 6 days. The first 3 days we were in and around Reykjavik, basically taking in the sights, hanging out downtown, and just taking it all in. Anyway, in downtown Reykjavik, there's a nice little rainbowish type road you'll see in the photo, and we just thought that was pretty cool. I think Iceland is a very LGBTQ friendly community, and so that was really nice to see. And we took a walk, and you'll see in the photos it's red light out, but we were there in August up in the northern hemisphere. You just gonna have a lot of daylight, so I think it was around 11 o'clock and it was still just super bright out, and we were able to take advantage of it. The next day we went to some of the museums. One of the museums that I can't remember the name of, but I will put it here, where it was kind of like just to let you know about the history of Iceland. They had a little ice cave exhibition that you could walk through. So if you haven't been, and I'm sure, or if you haven't seen any one of the tons of videos talking about how expensive Iceland is, I'll give you guys a bit of a download. So we went and we got some fries, kind of like a little meal, a burger, fries, onion rings. Michelle got a small donut and coffee, and that was roughly $40 US. So the third day that we were there, we realized, just happened upon the fact that it was a celebration week for LGBTQs. So there was going to be a parade, so we felt pretty lucky that we ran into that. One of the things that was really interesting about it was like how people were reacting or not reacting to anything that was happening. There were times where Michelle and I were the only ones like even moving to whatever music that was playing. She wooed a couple of times and then got a dirty look from this lady that was right next to us. It was just culturally, it was just pretty unique because they're like, yeah, these people definitely aren't from around here. Not that they can't see it on my face. Being in Iceland, we had to hit up the Blue Lagoon, and that's what we did. We went and took a dip, spent a couple of hours in there. It was nice and warm, and put on the mask, got the whole experience. And you know, I think as much as it is a tourist attraction, it's worth it just to take a soak and kick back and mill around the lagoon for a couple hours or as long as you want. The main features of the trip was doing the Golden Circle, or the Golden Triangle. I think it's the Golden Circle. So we had a car. It's a one-day road trip where you get to go to all the main featured waterfalls that are in the area.
I know, right?
One of the main goals of that day for me was to propose, and that was a bit of a journey in itself. So we were on that day trip, and one of the waterfalls was one where you could hike behind, and that was where I wanted to do it, is when we're behind the waterfall. It was a unique setting, and that's where I wanted it to happen. The day that we did our one-day tour of the Golden Circle, it was raining. It was cloudy and raining and windy and whatnot. During the hike, you're kind of on the ledge, looking at the falls and the water that it goes into. And it was slippery, and we got behind the falls, and I couldn't pull the trigger because in my mind the doomsday scenario was I'm gonna pull out the ring, it's gonna slip out of my fingers because it's wet, it's gonna bounce into the waterfall itself, and bye-bye moment. So that didn't happen. We hike out of the other side, and we get into the car, and once we got into the car, I decided that, I was gonna do it then, but it was such a last minute decision. Then I was all nervous, so I was just like, I got something for you. So I took it out of my jacket. She didn't know I had it on me. And she looked at it, and the first words out of her mouth was, "Get the hell out, there's nothing in there." And so she opens up the box with the ring, and she's like, "Oh my God." But according to her, I never really asked the question, somehow alluded to whether or not she wants to marry me, and she said yes. So that's how my marriage proposal went down. It was supposed to be I'm not even gonna call it a 10. It was probably gonna be like an 8, and then just with the weather, took it down to a 6. The fact that it was raining took it down to a 5. You know, Michelle was afraid of heights. I had the doomsday scenario of losing the ring in my mind. And then we made it out, got into a car, didn't even ask the question. I would say that proposal netted out at like a 1.5, but she still said yes. Our last day in Iceland, we went on a tour of a glacier, and once again, I'm not even gonna try to say the name, so it'll just flash on the screen. But this one was unique because they actually they completely bored out an entire network of caves into this glacier. And so you could go in and take the tours. They give you custom shoes that you could wear, or just spikes for you to walk on the ice. And that was a pretty unique experience as well, to be able to walk inside. It was expensive, but during the tour they did say that because the glacier shifts because the glacier is constantly shifting, they have no idea to predict whether or not the caves and what they've drilled into it will still be there in a number of years. I think they said 3 years. And they also said that they're not sure if they're going to do it again. So for me, it was potentially a once in a lifetime experience to be able to go inside a glacier, to be able to look at how it's formed. They had a chapel inside the glacier, which if you're into symbolism, there you go.